Good morning and welcome back to Trading Options Network. We are here for our end of the week recap. It's going to be quick. It's going to be to the point. But before we go ahead and talk about anything, we have to get this disclaimer out of the way. Everything is solely my opinion, not the opinion of Trading Options Network. Do with the information which will, but take responsibility for your actions. And also, of course, be sure to like, follow, or subscribe on your favorite social media platform to stay up to date with everything that is social media. That is Trading Options Network. And that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, first and foremost, all I really want to do is kind of discuss the our financial data that's come out this past week. So we had the ISM Manufacturing PMI on Tuesday. Of course, we had the holiday on Monday. Then we had the JOLTS job openings on Wednesday. We had the ADP non-farm employment change on Thursday, along with the unemployment claims, as well as later on in the day, that morning, the services PMI. And then finally on Friday, we had the average hourly earnings, the non-farm employment change, the unemployment rate, and we even had some of the FOMC members discussing certain things. And wow, what a week it was. If we go ahead and take a look at the heat map, it's just pretty much all red with the exception of a few small bits of green speckled in there. It was a big down week, you know. There's nothing to say other than that. It was a down week. Now, I will go ahead and point out, I'm actually going to pull up this chart right here. You know, on Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday, and it was Thursday. On Thursday, I discussed how we shouldn't be panicking, and we're still not in a bad spot, blah, 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 blah. And of course, what do I always talk about? I'm not going to be wrong. I'm not going to be right every single time. There will be times where I will be wrong, and this, you know, could potentially be one of them. Now, I'm not totally sold that we are going to be going down further. Okay, as you can see here, I had this line here above strong support. That is a pretty strong support line right there. And if you notice, we finished pretty much right at it. We dipped below and then we finished at it. So what does that mean? Are we going to bounce from there next week? Are we going to continue to push lower? I mean, I honestly don't know. The charts would probably suggest that we are going to go a little bit lower. You know, when I just got done saying that I don't see much happening until the FOMC meeting. And of course, the day after I say that, we had this massive sell-off in the market. So, you know, I don't know what's going to be happening. You know, nobody knows what's going to be happening. But it was definitely a red day. Now let's go ahead and get rid of that. Let's go look at the RSP, the equal weight chart here. Equal weight chart, it doesn't look bad. Yeah, we're still in a pullback. I can go ahead and draw a horizontal line here about, let's see, it'd probably be right around, I could actually draw a few. I could definitely draw a few. I mean, I could put one here. I could put one here. I could go down here a little bit. I can go all the way down here. But I would say the next big one would probably be right there on this particular chart, the RSP. So we can even see a little bit more of a decline there, a little bit more of a pullback. Again, does that mean it's going to happen? I mean, maybe not. You know, we did just break out to all-time highs on the RSP. Well, I guess I shouldn't say they're all-time highs. I only assume they are. It looks like they are. But nonetheless, I mean, it's been all-time highs, so we can expect a little bit of a pullback. On the S&P, as you can see, we have that double top here. We have a pullback. If I go ahead and make that same horizontal line on this chart where I had it on the other chart, it's going to be right about there. Actually, no, I'm sorry. A little bit lower, right? It's right in this ballpark. Roughly about, right? It could be right there. It could be right there. Again, you know, everything is really all up, you know, to the person that's charting. Okay, one person can see it one way, another person can see it another way. You know, it could be right here. It could be up a little bit higher, in which case, you know, according to that, it did actually dip below it. You know, I mean, it could be even down here, in which case we're still far above it. I mean, there's so many different places we could put it. But that being said, you know, we're at this level. We're at a key point, in my opinion, where, you know, if we don't bounce off of this, we could easily go down to, you know, say the 200 simple moving average, which is a pretty big pullback. Now, if it does bounce at all next week, we could very, very easily see a recovery. Oops, I don't care about this earnings right now. Next week, we don't really have a ton other than the CPI and the PPI. Of course, as I say, we don't have a ton. Those are some of the biggest numbers possible. If the CPI and the PPI miss badly, and it could technically be in either direction, we could see a bigger pullback. I do want to kind of hit on this. I know I talked a little bit about this, I think on Wednesday, before Thursday and Friday's numbers even came out. Or maybe I did talk about it on Thursday. I think I did talk about it on Thursday because I know I compared the services and the manufacturer PMI, so it had to have been on Thursday, but it was before Friday for sure. I find it interesting the manufacturing PMI is actually decreasing while the services PMI is actually increasing. I don't like how that is happening. I think that can actually cause more damage later on. And I know I actually had discussed something about the PPI. It was either the last month or the month before where the PPI numbers looked, a little suspicious to me. And I thought maybe we could see, inflation creeping back a little bit. And I don't know if this is where we're going to be hitting that. But I mean, we have the unemployment rate, which stayed about the same. The unemployment change, though, was expected to go up quite a bit, but it missed pretty bad. Now, why it was expected to increase so much, I don't know. I don't really care about that. But the fact of the matter is that it missed pretty bad. The earnings is going up a lot more. I mean, it literally went up double from last reading. And they were expecting an increase, but it increased more than expected. So what does all this mean? It means it's going to be costing companies more money to run, which means higher costs, which means higher inflation. So I don't know what's going to be happening. I don't know if that's what's really causing this pullback is people are starting to realize, hey, maybe we're not out of the woods yet for this inflation. Maybe we are going to go and see more. And I will say we're going to find out next week with these numbers. I mean, if these numbers come in high, it could spell a lot of trouble for the market. So I'm being very cautious. I know we did, if you are a platinum member, we did open up a neutral position on SPY Friday morning, only for it to collapse right in front of us. But great thing about some neutral positions like that when you are net seller, I shouldn't even say net seller, we weren't even a net seller, but we have a lot of theta for us. But when the volatility spikes, even though we dropped quite a bit in the market, our actual neutral trade, is not down terribly. It's really not. Okay? I don't know why this is not working. I'm really, really upset with Thinkorswim's platform right now because it's not even showing, Or I could just be looking at it wrong. I guess we are literally flat. Oh, I'm sorry. No, here we are. I was looking at the wrong line. That's why I didn't see it. Okay, so we're technically, even though we dropped off the way we did, we are technically up $125 in a neutral trade when we dropped almost 2%. That's a lot due to the volatility. So the volatility will save us there in certain times when, you're expecting one thing and then it does another. Sometimes the volatility will actually help out. Technically, we're up $125 in this trade. So I'm not worried about this trade yet. Now, if it starts really moving down again next week, then obviously we're going to have to get out of it. And we probably will take a little bit of a loss. But you know what? Boeing right now, CRM was one of those stocks of the days that I had on, if you follow me on social media. And we are up very nicely with that one right now. Duke is... it's okay. It's hanging in the weeds. Duke has been kind of beating the market a little bit. So I'm not surprised that we're still up, even though it's a bullish trade and the market obviously was looking pretty crazy. Square is actually coming back. Square did, something crazy and it just took off. Of course, it happened like right after we opened this trade. It seems like that happens a lot, but it never actually hit a stop loss. Shockingly, I think it's because it went up so fast. And now it's starting to come back. And even though it looks like we are, really hurting, on this trade, I mean, heck, the trade price was $4.50. The mark was $9. Right now we're at just under $1. So we're still down quite a bit. But if we go ahead and look at that chart really quick for Square, it's looking nicely. I think we opened up the trade right around here. Because it was bouncing off of a resistance level, and then it just took off. But after that day, if the market continues to move down, don't be surprised if it moves down further with it, and this trade actually does become very nice and profitable for us. But that being said, again, we were going to be short and sweet and to the point. I actually talked a little bit more about what I wanted to. I wanted to really just kind of discuss these numbers here. Overall, though, this week is going to be a big, important week, because what do we have the following week? Well, a lot of people are expecting a rate cut, and if the PPI and CPI this week come in high, that is going to ruin a lot of people's plans. So we'll see what happens, but overall, I will talk to you guys. I'm really excited to see what the market does on Monday, opening up for the week. But until then, I hope you guys do have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon. Take care.